All right, sorry I'm late there. Twitch felt like being, not Twitch, Google Hangouts felt like being a little weird, but I'm going to talk with you guys for like the first 10-ish minutes. Hopefully, yeah, okay, that's working there. And I have an ad on my own video, that's perfect. I just got my Prusa working again. So that's actually running the calibration, so I'm going to need to pop out in just a little bit. But, yeah, so we got a stream happening tonight with a bunch of people. I'm actually going to tweet this out right now. Let me get to it. I'm going to tweet this out right now. And why does this thing say I'm not live? I'm live. I know I'm live. It says live right here. I'm going to tweet this link out. Stream has started. Check it out here. Our guest will be in soon. All right, I gotta check the Prusa, make sure everything's going good with the calibration here. Woo. All right, I am back. Hopefully, if I put these right here, you won't see them good. Okay. And there's that. Let me get our chat up so I can see what you guys are saying. Do I sound good? Do I sound okay? I'm actually gonna grab some headphones though, because when the other people start getting in here, we don't want any audio overlap. So I'm gonna grab some headphones. All right, I am back. My magical overpressed Beats headphones from 3 years ago. I'm just gonna plug this into there. And we have that. Now I'm going to send a link to our people out there. am I missing? Oh. Alright, but I'm going to get our link for our... For our giveaway. Not a giveaway. I'm looking at too many things right now. Let me get a message started here. I need to get Unlikely Creators, a Buzz Designs. We need Juicy Moose. We need Mara Hittner. And who am I missing? Sparky Face. Next. Alright, calibration's happening. Let me see what happens if I close this and enter in this link. What comes up? You're about to join. Okay, got it. Alright, so that's what would happen. Good. Okay, so I got a bunch of people tweeting this out so everybody can see this. I should sound good on the audio. If anybody actually is watching, how does the audio sound? Does the audio sound good? Sound good? Sound good? Sound good? I don't know. But you should check links in the video description. There's everybody who's going to be here tonight. So we have Tessa, possibly from Sparky Face 5. We're going to have a Buzz Designs. She's going to be here for a little bit. She's going to start streaming a little bit later. We have Sparky Face 5. That is Tessa. We have Unlikely Creators. We have Logan from Unlikely Creators. We have Zoe from Juicy Moose. We have Mara Hittner from Matter Hackers. And we have, who am I missing? Lauren Renee from A Buzz Designs. Yeah. And they all have little cards right there. So check right here for their cards. Actually, check right there for their cards. I don't know why. There's a screen right here that I say everything. Then we have me over here. For some reason, when I point over here, it's actually switched in the video. So if I point here, it's pointing to the left corner. If I point here, it points to the right corner. It's weird. 3 viewers. Woo! Live control room. How's the stream doing? Does the stream look good? Mara, I will send you a link in a little bit. We're going to start at 8 o'clock, get everybody else in. And I made you a mod because you're special. You're part of the chat tonight. But yeah, I'm going to send you a link. You're so loud, Prusa. I need to find a way to get that quieter. But I'm going to send the link out at 8 for you guys. I actually can send it out now. Let me just send it out. Check your private inbox, Mara, and everybody for the stream. Check your private inbox. The link has been sent. You can join in. Prusa feels like being really loud, so I'm not going to start it again. Okay, so stream sounds good. Everything looks good. Mara and Sparky, you both have a link sent to your private messages on Twitter. So check there, and you can pop in. Please finish up. I don't want you to be so loud. That printer is far too loud. Seriously, though, it is really loud. Can make a dance to the song. Oh, come on. Woo! Second to last calibration point. I love that feature that it auto-calibrates, but that thing is so loud. That's why I'm not going to start a print, because it's going to... I won't be able to hear myself talk. I can barely hear myself talk right now. Hopefully, though, I won't need to wear these headphones. I might have to, though. Hopefully, so we don't get any audio paradoxness things. Woo! You guys know what this is for if you've seen my Twitter. But yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at TJTech12 on Twitter. And this is not there, but thanks, Mara, for this. Got this Monday? Yeah, Monday. I got this on Monday. Twitter. Yeah, Juicy Moose got the link. Juicy Moose got them link. All right. Twitter. What does Twitterverse say? What does the Twitterverse say to me? Twitterverse. Yeah. Okay, Bruce is done calibrating, you loud thing. All right, good. I'm gonna leave that thing alone so it doesn't burst the eardrums of everybody on here. But yeah, so I have my split screen here. I have Google Hangouts over here. We have the YouTube chat over here, so I can read what you guys are all saying. And hopefully we actually have more people join in. That was the goal of this, to get people to actually come around, see us, have a laugh, have some awesome time, and be awesome. Being awesome is awesome, right? Being awesome is awesome. It's the fundamentals of life. The fundamentals of life. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, ocho. They're all flexible filaments, though. Flexible filaments. Flexible. That's fun to say. Flexible. Flexible. Flexible's fun to say. Flexible. Flexible. See, look. Flexible. Flexible. This is actually... So I'm doing a video called Battle of the Flex. And this is going to be our model that we're testing. This was printed out in SandSmart TPU. I printed this out right before the Prusa broke, as the heater cartridge is overheating. All right, Mason Ritchie. But yeah, so the heater cartridge is overheating, and the thermistor wasn't realizing that. Well, it was technically overheating in the back, so it was overheating in the other part of the system. Really more, it was overheating in the wires. And I don't have the part anymore. But Sparky!
Hello! Can you hear me?
Okay. I need to put some headphones on. Whoa, okay.
All right, I've got one ear off the headphone because my little boy is just sleeping in the corner over there. So if he wakes up, I'll have to go.
All right. I am listening to annoying dogs barking, so it's quieter at your house.
Excellent.
RWL4, I'm going to be going later. It's just a thing. I had to stay for 3D printing awesomeness. Because 3D printing is awesome.
3D printing is awesome. What have you been printing lately?
Well, I just got the Prusa back working. My heater cartridge was completely dying.
Oh no.
It was just melting my printed parts, but I printed this little flexible dragon.
Flexible stuff's so cool.
Yeah, I got 8 splash spools of flexible for a video. Buzz, you have the link. It's in your
Twitter.
Private messages on Twitter, yeah. I just completely forgot the word. I also have this from Mara. See, there's Mara. I got this.
Hi, Mara.
Hi, guys. Woo. Got some flexible filament there?
Yeah, I have 8 spools plus this.
Good.
And I have a dragon. We got Zoe here from Juicy Moose. Woo!
Juicy.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, Zoe.
Dragon. Whoa, this is going to be fun.
Nice shirt.
Thanks. I was deciding to either wear this or my 3D printing is the answer. Who cares what the question is shirt.
That's a good one, too. I want one of those.
Yeah, I found it in the Facebook 3D printing group. Everyone's like, I need this shirt. And I'm like, I have this shirt. I just got it.
Nice.
Oh, it's amazing, though. I was going to start a print. That machine's just being too loud. So I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do it. It's too loud. You won't be able to stand it. Unlikely
that's
creators,
kind of relaxing.
See, the link is in your private message box on Twitter, so you can join. And I still need to eat something, and it's 8 o'clock here.
I'm having a snack.
Woo!
I'm gonna tweet this out.
Woo!
That would be a good idea.
Yes. Did I
I'll like and retweet for you.
Love it how people in the Facebook 3D printing group are like, hey, can I be your friend on Facebook? And I'm like, I don't know you, so I'm probably not going to do that. Yeah, okay. Should probably wait for Lauren and unlikely creators to come in, and then we can start being crazy. Lauren!
Hi.
All right.
Hi, Lauren.
Oh,
Hello.
I keep
Hello,
forgetting where
hello,
my
hello.
webcam is. I'm just looking everywhere else.
Oh yeah, I have the screen here. My webcam's like up here, so I'm just like, "Hi, webcam," and I'm like, "But I'm looking over here, and I want to look here. I can't do it." It's almost like every single one of my streams, I'm looking at my face instead of the camera. Unlikely.
Good. All right.
All right.
So what did everybody print this weekend for the holiday? Oh, some of us had a holiday. Sorry, Sparky Face. Not your holiday.
I didn't get a holiday.
There should be a National Sparky Face holiday on July 4th.
That's
It
right.
should be.
Yeah.
National 3D printing holiday. That should be a thing. Bracelets.
Lauren, I saw you caught some naps with the puppy.
I did.
Facebook
It
at
was
least.
fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
That is what holidays are for.
I don't care.
Yeah, I have 2 barking dogs, and they're probably going to decide to come over here, and I'm going to pick one up and show them on camera eventually.
Excellent.
So what are we
Well-
chatting about?
Well, I
Sorry?
just got my Prusa back and working, so I didn't print anything on the 4th of July. I just got the part today, and I swear this is a thing. Whenever I'm not at my house, UPS will come at 11. When I'm here, they come at 6.
Ah. Yep.
I hate it. Oh, everyone's here.
Hey, we got Unlikely. What's up?
Hey, Logan.
Hi, Logan. Alright, let me tweet this out.
All right. So, what has everyone printed recently that you love the most? Camera's there. Okay.
Oh. I've got something, but I just need to set up my screen first.
I don't print anywhere near as much as I would like to these days. I just tell stories about other people and what they printed and why their stuff is awesome. Like that looks pretty cool.
That does look cool.
This is being annoying to paint. I'm doing it because it looks better.
That's awesome.
I think it's huge. I use 4 tools of Matter Hackers on there, so
Nice.
amazing, easy. I also have a shelf full of Matter
Oh,
Hackers.
it's the wrong
Ran out of space in my
screen.
box.
I printed this recently and I love it.
Oh, I saw that.
It's not done.
Ooh.
I cut off the bottom half of it because I didn't want to waste it because this is for sizing and it's too small. So I'm glad I didn't waste it. But it's turning out really cool.
Looks comfy.
It does look
It
comfy.
actually is super comfy.
I don't buy it.
I swear it is. That's only like a 2-inch-ish heel.
Yeah, but with the footbed being so hard, doesn't
Well,
that?
I'm gonna put an insole in there.
Okay.
So it will be a lot more comfortable when it's done.
Very good.
But that was just my test.
That's really awesome, though. It looks great.
Thanks.
Good idea.
I've been working on Abe from Abe's Odyssey.
Oh.
And so these are the renders on the screen at the moment. He's pretty much done. In fact, he is done. I'm waiting for some filament from Filamentum, some green. So, and then I'll show you him in green, glorious green. Where's my screen? There it is, back again. Here he is in orange anyway.
Ooh.
And it says Oddworld on the back. And
That
it was so much fun. When I first did him, and here I was thinking that I made his eyelids too fat and his wrinkles were too much, and it turned out that his eyelids were perfect and his wrinkles weren't wrinkly enough, and I needed to go back in and make those details stand out more, which is something that's to do with 3D printing process, which is quite interesting as you're modeling, to realize that you need to sort of exaggerate a bit more than what you think.
Yeah, I'm not the best at designing, but I did figure out sort of how to design something. I got something in for the Matter Hackers contest at the last day.
Nice.
You did.
Oh yeah, I got Strawberry as well, of course. Strawberry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
I was trying to
the
separate
thing
that.
I've released a color version, multicolor version to my patrons as well. So if any of you are signed up to Patreon, you can collect that from there.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
I wish I had multi-extrusion. I really do. I want to print that like multicolor version of Strawberry, but I can't.
I think
Mine is coming eventually.
3D Printing Noob is printing one out for me, so we'll see if it works.
Awesome.
That'll be nice.
Mine is supposed to come at the end of August, and I've been demanding Crusoe for it since the beginning of March, which is when I ordered it, but patience. Yeah. So I want to ask everybody get their opinion on this. So what is your favorite thing about 3D printing?
Okay, well, no one's on. That's fine. My favorite thing about 3D printing is just how much possibility you've got. Not just with the designing, because I really like to tinker and play with electronics and mechanical things. Like I like to work with my hands. I'm an artist, but I'm also technical, and there's so many different ways you can configure a 3D printer. You know, especially these RepRaps, well, not this one, but a RepRap style, where you can just sort of come up with your own ideas, build a machine that builds things, that builds a machine. You know, there's all this great stuff you can do, not just toys like what I've been doing, but okay. If you look at my older stuff, you see I used to do some practical things as well. And yeah, it's really cool. But I love 3D printing because it's so open with your possibilities.
Yeah. I would say, jumping off on that, printing usable things. With Matter Hackers, we work a lot with schools and with industries, with manufacturing, with aerospace, and to see how they're being used in schools to do these idea banks. Like people actually, like other teachers, if there's 3D printers in a classroom, teachers and people in the community will put in requests for either stuff that they need fixed or little inventions, things to solve problems, and they have the kids actually come up with the designs and use the 3D printers to prototype and actually make things for the community and for other classrooms, which is it's basically exactly what these kids are going to be doing in 10 years when they're off, working in, if they have aerospace or manufacturing in their town. Even as young as middle school, they're really training these kids to use these desktop machines that are also being used for exactly the same thing, for prototyping and for making inventions and for making usable parts in an actual real live setting in a professional setting. So I hear those stories all the time, and it just blows my mind. That's my favorite thing about 3D printing is the practical applications.
I still can't find any practical. I'm stretching flexible.
Have you seen, I think it's Barb, she does a lot of flexible stuff, window decals, and she made a bag, I think.
Yep.
Actually did make something practical once. So my dad has a little hood on top of our stove, and the switch broke off of that little knob, so I designed and 3D printed a new one, and that's actually holding the part together right now.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Nice.
CJ, do you have machines that you're...
Go
What did
ahead.
you say, Matt?
I was just, TJ, do you have machines in your school?
We have 4 FlashForge binders, and we have 1 MakerBot. That was at my middle school, but I'm moving up to the high school now. So we have, I think, a $25,000 Stratus machine.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
I'd love to compare it to like my Prusa down here and see, hey, how does it print?
So what were you using or what did they use the machines for in your middle school? Or did you use them, and what are they used for?
I have no clue what they use the machines for. I know the Femgineers use it. That's just the female engineers in our school, and they have that whole club for them. But I'm pretty sure other people used it for projects. Like I used my machine. My teacher offered to print it out for me. We were making Rube Goldbergs, and I 3D printed it, designed a little cup to let the marble fall into it.
Cool.
Yeah, but I completely taught myself how to use my own machines, so.
Lauren, you were saying?
Oh, my favorite thing about 3D printing is the ability to push my creativity further. Because I wouldn't necessarily think about how things are going to go together and how things are going to work if it weren't for 3D printing, where I'm printing out the piece I'm making and then adjusting it and learning from that and pushing my own boundaries. So that for me is my favorite part.
Oh, for sure.
So, Logan, you got anything to say about your favorite part of 3D printing?
Should I go, or Logan, you want to go?
Is Logan muted?
I think.
Yeah, on his
No,
end.
he's not. You might be muted on your computer or microphone. My microphone.
Can you hear me now?
There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
There we go. Okay. My favorite part is, like, have you seen the Slinkies that Devin from Make Anything has made?
Yes.
Right. Those are so awesome. So I just printed out one of those recently, and I've been so inspired off of that. And the platform jack, you know that? I'm just imagining like all these concepts of like printing print in place objects and taking them, like, I don't know, like I like that aspect of just having something and then like having it come apart and do other things. I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Okay. So, what about you?
I don't think everybody will agree with me on this, but I am actually in high school, so we're learning geometry. And what I love about 3D printing is like being able to take your knowledge and actually like imply it to something in real life. And you know, like geometry, like tangents, secants, things like that. If I haven't been into 3D printing before, I wouldn't have really ever touched that. But because I actually took time to learn it, and I get to imply it in pretty much like everyday life, I mean, I think that's just pretty amazing in its own. 3D printing kind of gets people to, you know, want to learn more and use whatever they have learned. And I think that's really nice.
That's actually perfect, Zoe, because one of my 3D prints, and it doesn't look like much, it's actually just it went from the back of a fan onto a graphics card in a computer to sort of direct the air flow, and it was a commissioned
really neat.
job. And
Yeah.
And it's personalized, you know, that's why it says Dark Arcane, which is the person's screen name anyway. And I actually used trigonometry to work this out. So I took some basic measurements and realized I missed one or two. And then I actually had to use trigonometry to work out the length that I needed for the correct angle to make it work.
B squared, right?
Yeah, all of that stuff.
Yeah. I don't miss it. I don't want to go back to school.
Well, I thought how
love
interesting, like that. I think that was the first time I've actually had to break out trigonometry, you know, sine, cosine, all that stuff
Yep.
in real life, because
I have to use it
it's
all the
so
time.
rare.
All the time.
I need to learn it for
I
my
wish I
trade,
did.
but in the real world, we don't really need it. We just have to know it's there. It's unusual in my trade to actually need it. So yeah.
All right, yeah. So I made one of my fun projects was I made custom GPU brackets because Sparky Fish, you might know about this, but those graphics cards are very heavy sometimes, and
Oh,
being
yeah.
on one PCIe slot, it can be very weighted on the card. So I printed a little piece that holds the graphics card up, so all of the weight isn't stressed on the PCIe, but it's actually stressed on the plastic part, and also all of the weight is distributed across. So you don't have any snapping when you're, say, shipping the computer or something like that.
Oh,
That'd be
cool.
fun.
Very good.
All right, so everybody knows that. What would you say would be your favorite? What was one thing that you would want to improve maybe in the 3D printing area? What is, say, some kind of limitability kind of that you feel that 3D printing later on in life could actually be upgraded to, or be able, what do you want to see in 3D printing in the future, sort of?
Easier and faster. I mean, the software
I
is
suppose, yeah.
Software is
Sorry.
helping that, I think. Software is getting better. Hardware is getting better too. But yeah, there's still a little bit of, there's still not microwaves. And they, you know, this technology, obviously it will never be. But it would be really great to have it be, now that it is more affordable for everybody and more accessible, meaning that pretty much anywhere you are in the world, you can get a 3D printer if you want to. There's still, you know, some people that would like to focus more on their art and their creation and their invention rather than the ins and outs of the, you know, the technicalities of the printer itself, and having just the whole process be easier and faster.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want, just 3D printing to be faster, easier, so someone can seriously just open up a slicer, drop a model in, and say, okay, and just hit the print button and not have to worry about it screwing up or anything like that. Someday, hopefully.
Computers used to be a lot tougher. You know, we didn't always have one in our pocket.
Yeah, that's true. Computers didn't even have an operating system back in the day, did they? You just had to
Right.
type everything into terminal.
Yeah. It was all code. There was no, you know, apps. There was no, you know, Uber. There was no, you know, all the things that not only gave the machine a purpose, but also just made it easier to accomplish things.
I read a funny meme actually concerning Uber and computers, and it said, as we're growing up, our parents all told us not to meet strange people off the internet and not get into other people's cars, and now we go on the internet to meet a strange person and get into their car.
Yep. We also take candy from strangers if you want to talk about all the food delivery.
Oh, yeah. Prusa.
And Prusa.
Excellent.
Especially Prusa. Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah, we get our shopping delivered sometimes because we just can't make it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So, what are everybody's opinion on makerspaces? Because I saw Heather here mention that RA School is going to be getting a makerspace, and I actually have a makerspace about 30 minutes away from me. I uploaded a video on that of a whole facility tour. So, how do you feel about makerspaces? Because I think they're amazing.
I like the idea of them, but I've never been to one because they're so far away from me. The closest one is almost just under an hour away from us. And so it's kind of hard to get there during the hours that they're open. So I haven't made it yet, but I like the idea of it.
I like the idea of it. I've been to one and it wasn't that great, but because I think the organisers didn't know what to do, what sort of things to get in, and how to use the equipment they did get in. So I think it's important that the organisers know about the equipment that's in there and the possibilities to bring other people in so that we can all learn together and create cool things. But you first need the people who are starting it to have a bit more technical knowledge, I think.
I just came back from a trade show about libraries, and there's a big movement now for public libraries to have makerspaces in them.
Yeah, that's where I went to a library.
To a library. That's really interesting, even in Australia. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, libraries over the past few years have been a place where you can go to learn how to use email. You can go and check your accounts. You can, they teach both young people and senior citizens how to use computers. And so now they're starting these spaces where they will teach you how to use a 3D printer, or you can just, some of these places you just turn up and they'll do the 3D printing service for you because they have volunteers from the community that are knowledgeable. And I mean, talk about making 3D printing accessible. I think there are some really good models for makerspaces that do work. When I first I bought a printer bot, Simple Metal, almost 3 years ago from MatterHackers before I started working here. And I am not a technical person. I had no idea what I was getting into, and I couldn't get it to work. And it took a month until I finally found a makerspace near me, and I brought it to one of their open meetups, and people there were able to help me get it to work. So my 3D printing adventure literally would have stopped if it wasn't, before it started, if it wasn't for a makerspace.
Yeah, so I actually had a printer bot play before, and I ordered it from Amazon. And I ended up returning that because I couldn't get it to work whatsoever because I had no clue what I was doing when I was assembling a machine. I had no clue why I bought a kit machine, and then I bought a DaVinci, and that was a poor mistake on mine. But it actually taught me a lot about 3D printing, even though how limiting the entire thing was. Totally understanding what ABS is actually very hard to print in if you don't have a proper enclosure. And just the DaVinci taught me so many things, and just troubleshooting it kind of like steered me away from 3D printing. And then I got my what was it, an MP Select Mini, and I just used that and just played around with a bunch of machines. I had about like $600 in Amazon store credit, so I was just jumping around from machine to machine and just having fun playing with machines. And then I'm like, okay, this is getting annoying. So I decided to buy the Prusa, and I have loved it since then, and I've had my Prusa since January.
I love that 3D printing is becoming affordable so much that, like yourself and other young people can actually try it out without too much risk to their savings account. I think it's great. You can make mistakes and try again and learn the hard way without begging your parents every 5 minutes for like $1,000, $2,000, It's great.
I think it's crazy how much it's come down in price even in just like the last 15 months.
Yeah.
How many strides companies have made at lowering those prices is amazing, and it's great for everybody and great to actually get more people involved because they don't have to shell out $1,000 to get involved in something they may not like.
Yeah, exactly. Some low risk entrance into the hobby, and I think it's getting a lot more people in. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and a bunch of my friends keep contacting me all the time saying, hey, what's a good 3D printer to buy? And I'm saying, I know that I use a lot of 3D printers and I show them off all the time, but it's not the easiest thing ever to understand completely. And I've had friends who've bought machines, never got it to work right, and they just ended up selling on eBay and got half of what they were asking for, and just never got into 3D printing completely as much as, say, all of us did.
All right, guys, I hate to do this, but I gotta jump off. I actually have a 5:30 meeting, so I'm gonna have to say bye-bye.
Bye, Mara.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing us all together, TJ. Thanks for everything, for your channel. Thanks for wearing the shirt.
I love this shirt. It's so nice.
Awesome. Bye, everybody. See you on the Twitters.
Bye.
Ciao.
All right, so while we were talking about low-cost 3D printers, one of the most important things though is to make sure that though it is low cost, that it's still safe. It's not going to burn your entire house down from improper gauged wires or something like that.
Yeah, that can be a problem, especially since beginners don't know necessarily what's safe and what isn't. And that's something that we are fighting in the community at the moment, I think, is how cheap is too cheap.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because there's definitely a line where just buying all of these machines, buying a machine for $200 might be a bad mistake, or usually is a bad mistake, except for some specific machines. Like the Monoprice Select Mini is $200, but it's comparing it really to when I'm buying a cheap machine, comparing how much build volume the price is to what the price is of the machine. So the Monoprice Mini I would trust, but something like a TiVo Tarantula or like a Black Widow, so those machines I wouldn't really trust because the build volume compared to the price is a little off. Sometimes I still don't trust the CR10 no matter how many reviews come out on it and how much people love it.
I don't necessarily think it's a matter of trust as much as it is a matter of making yourself knowledgeable about it. Because you can have a $200 machine that, you know, for one person may be super damaging and not a very good machine, whereas you may have somebody else who looked into every single aspect of the printer and informed themselves of how it should go together and made the necessary adjustments to it. And for them, that printer may be amazing. So I really think that if you are going to go with a budget printer, you need to educate yourself on what to look for and what to do and how to make it a safe machine so that you don't have those problems.
Absolutely. I tell my friends who want to get started into 3D printing, they're like, oh, what printer should I get? I said, it has a steep learning curve. The printer has a steep learning curve, printing has a steep learning curve, and designing has a steep learning curve. And the most important thing in all of these aspects is your own attitudes. So if you have an attitude and you know it, where you give up easily, you get frustrated, if you really want to get into the hobby, you need to develop ways to take time out, step away, come back. Otherwise, you're not going to pick it up. You're not going to keep it.
Yeah. So my friend, most of them actually bought. I was originally getting around. They were mostly saying, "Hey, what's a good machine for $400?" And I'm like, "You should go with the Monoprice Select Mini. Those machines are amazing. They work great." And they get that, and it just didn't work as well as they expected it to, and they just got really mad about that. But it is a steep learning curve. You have to actually understand how it works and be able to diagnose if something's wrong, saying that all of the filament's catching on your extruder.
And troubleshooting skills don't come naturally to everybody. So, like I said, it is a steep learning curve. And it helps to have friends nearby who you can talk to and trust ask stupid questions and things like this. And then there's the community on Twitter and on Facebook and YouTube and all of this stuff. So there's lots available now. Definitely the support is growing, which is good.
And it's like, even though sometimes when I had my machine, I knew Prusa had his 24/7 support, and I'd still contact him if one of my machines isn't working, even though I didn't even have the machine yet, because there was always something there, and they'd be able to understand it if something was happening. And the 3D printing community just on Facebook, it's almost, I think, 50,000 members. Just posting one thing in there, showing a picture of something that's not right, you'll get 150 comments telling you exactly what to do.
That's a good problem to have.
The community is just amazing, though. And I feel that if there wasn't a community around 3D printing, that it would just be so much more difficult.
For sure.
Well, thank you for having the internet.
Internet is a magical place.
Otherwise,
I just
there
love
wouldn't
the
be a
whole
community.
Unify project. It is amazing. Just the idea of being able to 3D print a 3D printer. Well, not completely, but there are nice machines out there that are coming out where you can actually sort of 3D print a whole 3D printer. I made one video saying how cheap can you build a 3D printer, and that is my most popular video with almost, I think, 9,000 views. And everybody's like, yeah, you should build this this machine, build this machine. It's incredibly cheap. And I'm like, sometimes cheap things aren't always amazing, but everybody wants me to build that snappy machine. You guys have heard of it. All right, does anybody have anything they want to say about 3D printing or anything?
My most popular video was about the Philistruder, and the next most popular was the very first one I did where I was just putting a kit together. So people are very interested in kit printers and DIY, I think.
I was thinking about building an Ultimaker 2 aluminum since Jatman was going to be doing that. And he was saying, "Oh, you should build it." And I'm like, I'd probably mess up ordering the parts and get 1-inch extrusions instead of 20mm extrusions and be completely screwed and have no clue what to do.
That's a good thing about 3D printing, though, is you learn going through it. And, you know, if you make those mistakes, then you have to learn how to fix them or how to adjust them or start over. And I think that's one of the other awesome things about 3D printing.
It's just the whole thing. And some of the words are just hilarious, like elephant's foot. That's one of my favorite words when troubleshooting. It's like, you have an elephant foot. And I'm like, what was that? And then I spent time figuring out what it is. Then when Joel was talking about the obsidian, saying that it had heat creep, I'm like, what's this heat creep thing? And then I completely figured out what it was and researching for like 3 hours.
I'm going to have to go. If you saw that, my mom had the food and all that.
I'm right there with you. I haven't eaten yet.
Yeah. Thanks for
Me too. Oh, it's breakfast time.
Yeah.
Good one, Logan. Now
Thanks
we're all
for-
hungry.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah it's
Logan.
pork.
Oh.
So see ya. Chicken
Bye.
right now.
All right, so what is everybody's favorite thing that they've printed? I got my little specialty standing by my side. It is my airplane. Doesn't even fit on
That's
camera.
cool.
Nice.
I
Will
have
it
to
fly?
put a billion motors. That wasn't good.
I guess not.
Crap. Oh, my tail broke off. That's why it's made out of plastic, so I can print new parts. This is fun.
Yay!
Ooh.
Also a good thing about 3D printing. Just break
Yes.
something, print it again.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that I've printed is always the most recent thing that I've printed. So it changes every time I get asked the question.
Yeah, that was funny.
and my
when you
most-
posted on Twitter, the bear standing inside, I think on top of the other bear. I was like, oh, print that.
This one.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
funny.
that's the one.
Oh, it's so silly. I asked the designer because this tall bear, I actually paid for the model and I just modified it and gave it a collar. But it's a paid for model and I didn't want to. People were asking me to distribute it, but unfortunately, I asked the designer if he was okay with it, and he said no because he put a lot of work into the model, and I can understand that. So we all just have to make do with the pictures, except for me. But you can buy the model. It's on Colts. It's like $2 or something. So it's not expensive.
I have food on standby.
How dare you eat in front of me?
I know. I'm so hungry.
My least favorite thing about, I feel that there's barely anybody in like a local time zone that will stream on time. Like Abuzz, you've probably seen this. Joel will stream at 1 a.m.
Yes. The struggle is so real. You know, like all your favorite YouTubers are always in like different time zones, and it's like when they start streaming, you're either asleep or you're like at work, at school. You know, it's like the timing just doesn't come together. And I just kind of wish we all lived in the same continent or something, so we could
It's
all live
only-
stream. We'd all have like, you know, everybody on board instead of, you know, just having like 1/10 of everybody on.
So
Yeah.
I've got one time a week where I can dedicate to streaming, and it's for me it's Saturday morning, For a lot of the US, it's Friday evening, and I thought, oh yeah, cool. As long as no one's going out partying, they should be able to catch my stream.
Yep.
No, this guy's got work. That guy's got. It's like
Yeah.
almost everyone's busy on a Friday evening. I'm like, no, why? It's really hard to pick the good time because everyone's just doing different things, aren't they?
It's just so difficult, all the time zones. But in Australia, I think the time zone's like about 12 hours different from here.
Yeah, it depends where you are, but it's 8:38 in the morning here.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah, so it's a
8:38
12-hour
at night here.
Mm.
One of my favorite
Totally
things
forgot.
about seeing people, oh, they're 12 hours ahead of us. They know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, I
Those are
can't
my
tell you
little
the
cousins, and
numbers.
it's so cute.
It's not right.
Oh, it's so much fun, though.
All right, guys, I'm going to have to get going because I have a conference call in 20 minutes and I have to eat dinner before then. So I will see you guys later. And thanks for the stream. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, bye, guys.
Nice.
Bye, Lauren. I'm going to go soon as well, but just before that, Zoe, I need you to print this really
I will.
small,
How small?
to go next to Georgie. The
Yes,
little
Georgie.
Georgies. It has to go
Georgie
next to
loves
him.
his. Georgie loves his current temporary strawberry filled at the top a little bit, so I'm gonna reprint it for him.
Cool,
How
cool.
small do you want him?
As small as you want to print him, and he still has a beak.
So probably about this big. So we're looking
Yeah,
at
that
about
sounds right.
12 millimeters, about maybe, including the
All right,
beak.
cool. Well, he's 50 millimeters normally, so that'd be great.
20 something % scale. I'm
See,
just-
mathematical
Yeah.
mind.
That's my
Perfect.
next project to print as soon as my Prusa is finished calibrating and fixed.
Awesome. I want to see pictures on Twitter. You have to Twitter me
Yes,
pictures.
It
please.
will probably
post.
be out there tomorrow morning. What color should I print it in? I have red. I have 2 different spools of red. I just got my Matter
Red's good.
Hackers red, so.
All colors work with Strawberry. Anyway, I gotta go. Thanks for inviting me to stream. I really enjoyed talking, and I'll catch you another time.
All right. See ya, Sparky.
See ya.
What's up?
Just me and you now.
Yep.
All right,
I don't know
so I guess
I
we're
don't know
gonna
how long
open
I'm
this
gonna
up to
stay.
random Q&A in the chat. So if anybody's got any questions in Q&A, go ahead and ask them. I'm not even sure how many people actually are here besides all of us.
So are you streaming this through YouTube, or is this solely through just Google Hangouts?
No, this is on YouTube too.
YouTube. Okay, hold on. Let me pull it up real quick.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey's here.
Yeah,
But
right
if you
now.
guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them. We got 2 people here that know a lot about 3D printing, so we can answer all questions and everything.
Right now, I have everything through Google Hangout, so I can't see the chat. I can only see you now because everybody else left.
Oh yeah. I have the broadcast side so I can see everything. But I was saying that we could use the group chat actually on the side there if we ever wanted to talk privately. So Jeffrey works at a makerspace. And I feel that
Cool.
when I went to a makerspace by me, everything was all about woodworking and metal. And they had a 3D printer shop and it was 2 machines. And I'm like, well, this is depressing. There should be more 3D printers.
Right.
3D printing is so much fun. Cannot not 3D print. I'm bending these weights. I flexed my dragon too much. But I
Happened to
have so many flexible filaments to play around with.
Oh, that looks nice.
So much fun to play with. I've just been sliding these up and down my hands all day. Yeah. I also have Mara sending some. What is it? I have some Flex Matter Hackers Flex. So now I have 8 things to say on a flexible filament battle sort of thing. Oh, so Jeffrey, I'm from New Jersey, so East Coast.
There we go.
Juicy,
All right.
You went to Murph, so how far actually of a drive was that for you?
So I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is like towards the lower part of the state. So it wasn't too bad considering it was all the way in, I think, Ohio. I don't even remember, but it was just a few states away. So that was about like a 3-4 hour drive, which isn't bad considering, you know, I'm crossing a few states in the process.
Yeah, for me it would have been $10 or $600 to fly there, so that didn't happen. Well, 10
Yeah.
hours both ways, so 10 hours there, 10 hours back. So.
If we all had like a central location where Murph was taking place, maybe a few more people would have came. But I don't know. It's kind of like because there's different population densities in each state, and there's only so much chance that, you know, one of us will be in there who will have time to go there. So it's a lot of variables, but it would be nice if everybody could just come and we'd all hang out basically in real life instead of just
Yeah.
virtually.
I only saw Joel one time in real life.
When was that?
That was at New York Maker Faire last year, and I'm actually going again this year. A lot of people got mad at me when I went last time, saying, "Why didn't you film or anything?" And I'm like, I didn't think I should film. Is there a problem with that? And then everyone's like, "You have to film." So I'm going again this year to film everything.
I thought it was a good practice. Like if you're ever going to anything related to your channel, be it like a 3D printed, like you know, these events, it's always good to film them because I'm sure there are people out there who would, you know, like to see what happened, which is why I filmed to begin with. It was also just, you know, just for the memories, you know, sentimentality. I recorded all of it, and a lot of people liked the video, I guess. So I'm pretty happy with that.
I'm looking forward to speaking with Prusa and shaking his hand, saying, "Hey, what took my?"
Oh yeah, he gives very firm handshakes. I'll tell you that.
Jeffrey, I do not have the Select Mini V2. I have my Prusa i3 Mark II because that thing is amazing. And RWL04. My most wanted filament is probably a Color Fab Gold because that thing is amazing. Juicy, what's your most wanted?
I mean, I don't really have a most wanted because I kind of already have them. But I'm really into like the carbon fiber filaments. Those things are really fun. I have a roll of Protopasta HT carbon fiber, which is really amazing stuff. I mean, it's really expensive, but it's really cool to say, hey, check this out. I printed something in carbon fiber, even though it's not, you know, fully carbon fiber. You get to, you know, you just get to say that. Pretty fun.
Magnetic. So Protopasta makes a lot of weird and awesome filaments. They
Yep.
have insane filaments. I mostly buy their scented stuff because I just love walking down into my basement and just smelling coffee and cinnamon through the air. It's amazing.
Yes, the coffee one is like, it's so good. Like I would just sit there I don't condone doing this, but I would just like sit there the entire time and just like what is that called? It's like aromatic therapy or something where, you know, like you have like a certain scent. It's kind of like that, but just with 3D printing involved.
So nice. Just the smell of just all of it all together. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
it popped through my head. I'm like, I have 4 spools of scented filament and I'm waiting for my multi-material upgrade. That's going to be something fun to print.
Yeah, that would be actually really interesting. You got like a ton of different smells.
Yeah, it's got to be something small though, because I can't waste like half of my spools on
Yeah.
a waste tower.
Yeah. That's a lot of things that people don't like is how much plastic they waste, you know, for the priming when you change the colors. So
I'd be
sometimes
fine
it's
with
just
that.
gotta
I
be
think I'm on 30
conservative.
spools down here, so I'm good. But one of the main reasons I bought the Prusa multi-material upgrade is one, to print in multiple colors because I've never had any sort of dual color machine, and I just want to see awesomeness of it. And I've never ever seen any multicolor prints. I saw Prusa's prints at Maker Faire, New York Maker Faire, which was when they released the pre-orders, and I didn't have a Prusa then. I wasn't even thinking about buying a Prusa then. And then pretty much as soon as I got home from Maker Faire, I said, hey guys, I am going to order a Prusa and it's going to take 8 weeks to get here. That means I don't have a 3D printer. I'm going to try and upload some videos, but I don't have any machines to print with, so how can I be a 3D printing channel without a 3D printer?
Right, exactly. And I've gone through that like so many times on this channel. I mean, it's crazy the amount of printers I've gone through. I've gone through 2 Select Minis. The Wanhao's gone. I've gone through an ANET. I've also gone through an M3D. Yeah, so I went through a lot of printers in this.
M3D contacted me for a review at Maker Faire. I'm like, hey, you guys want to send me an M3D micro to review? And they're like, yeah. And I got it, and I had it for 5 days, and I'm like, this machine sucks. Take it back.
Right, yeah. So I'm actually surprised they gave you the review unit because actually Angus tried it at some point too. They're like, yeah, you can get a $50 discount from our normal price, which I think was like $350 US. So that would have been $300. Not like, and just keep in mind, this company tried doing it again over Kickstarter. They went for another printer. So, I mean, they kind of focus on more of the capital of the printer versus the functionality of it. And really, just as a company, I don't like them because of, their values are not the way that we usually have our values, like always have good customer support, have a nice printer, decent price tag. Well, they kind of broke all of those. They have horrible customer support. They have a really bad printer. The software is horrible. It's kind of like it's just a bad mix, and I kind of feel bad for them. And that was the first machine I started out with, and just looking back, it's quite deterring when you have a printer that works so bad. Like, I just know it was bad, but when you're just getting into something and you buy something that bad, it's like you just don't want to do it anymore. That's when I bought the ANET, which was the kit printer. And that's when things started turning around, and I got really hooked on 3D printing, which I'm glad I did. I'm glad I ditched the M3D when I did, because otherwise I would have just been stuck in a loophole of anger and annoyance.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much like me. Apparently, printed batteries are going to be a thing soon. Is that even possible? Printed batteries?
I mean, I guess it could be possible. There is conductive filaments. There's metallic filaments. I mean, I think we've pretty much come to that stage now. I mean, you're probably not going to get very much juice out of it, or maybe it's going to be a very thick package. I mean, kudos to the person who's even trying it. That would actually be pretty dope if we had 3D printed batteries. Hey, check that out. My phone's dying. Print out a battery, charge it. Just something to throw out there. That would be pretty neat.
Yeah,
I would definitely start something.
My M3D was trash. So I've gone through so many machines because I managed to break everything. I seriously said I was going to make a YouTube channel called either I Like to Break Stuff or Break Anything. And I was going to record slow-mo videos and smash everything with a hammer and then, just crush it. It'd be awesome. But I went through so many machines.
Yeah.
I managed to brick a DaVinci. I had so many other machines. I went through 2 Select Minis. First one had the thermistor broke. And then another one, the fan wouldn't run at all. So I'm like, screw this, just give me a refund.
Right.
I think I ordered an Assemble printer bot play, which I had for 2 days. And I saw the Make magazine review, and I said, hey, how do you guys get this thing to print so well? And they're like,
Right.
Oh, that's just how our machine works. And I'm like, okay, so this is also garbage then, or they sent you a cherry-picked machine.
Right. And am I able to branch out something? I'm sorry to interrupt. So when I got the M3D, I just want to say this. I was following this YouTube channel. I don't remember the name. It was more of a technology-based YouTube channel. And they pretty much focus on different types of tech, like, VR, solid-state storage, things like that. And they got an M3D. This is the reason why I even bought an M3D to begin with. It was because of this YouTube review. And I totally trusted this guy. And I'm not saying that I don't trust him now, but the thing is, his story with the M3D compared to 90% of the other M3D owners or once M3D owners, it just didn't add up. He had such a flawless experience. His printer worked out so well. Looking at the print quality, you know, that was not even close to whatever I saw on forums off of my machine. You know, it's just things like that that just, it's just horrible. I mean, I'm not going to assume anything, but I just don't understand how he got such an amazing unit. Meanwhile, everybody else got garbage, basically.
That's what I hate, where some machines are just cherry picked.
Right, exactly. That's the word, cherry pick. That's the thing. They probably knew that he was gonna, you know, talk about the printer, say good things about it. That's probably what increased their sales. It's just sad to see that.
My number one thing. That's why I didn't order the machine directly from people. If I was gonna order a machine directly from a company, I didn't tell them I was buying it. I just bought it, even though they were saying like, "Oh, we'll give you a 15% discount," and I'm like,
Right. Yes.
even if you're gonna give me a discount, I know it's amazing, but I just don't trust that you're gonna give me the same machine that everybody else is going to get.
Right.
So I ordered I think it was a CME CNC Eris, and I ordered it from CME CNC. They said we'll give you a 15% discount, and I said, no, I'm not going to take that discount. I just sent the order through, and they didn't even know about it. And my machine didn't work at all. I couldn't get it to calibrate. Well, I got it to calibrate, but it was never right, and I have no clue why. My H2, on the other hand, I have an H2 and a Rostock Max V3. They calibrate fine. I'm like, hey, I'm going to grab an Eris, see all of these, see how they calibrate, see how they work. I love CME CNC's calibration. The number one thing that scares me, though, is when you first build it, seeing it go down to the glass and go, and I'm like,
Yes. I know that feeling. I don't have a CME CNC, but when I have the glass on a printer and it has, like, you know, the auto leveling, those two combined, like, it gives me anxiety, to be honest. Like, you know, there's always just that one chance where the sensor or something just goes wrong and it goes all the way down and it keeps going.
Yeah.
Oh, bad feeling. Bad feeling.
Yeah, I just, sometimes I tell myself this all the time. I back Kickstarter projects, and I'm actually still waiting on an Ono, which I really cannot trust anymore. So if I do upload a video on that thing, it's going to be at the end of December, a year after they were supposed to ship. And I'm like, please don't turn into a Tico. I was lucky enough not to back the Tico.
Yeah.
When the Tico came out, I'm like, hey, this looks cool. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to buy that, because no. And I ended up buying that was when I first bought my PrinterBot Play. It was fun. It was a very fun experience to use it. But I just never got it to work. And what I hated is, oh, it's taking me so long to put it together. And it took me probably 4 hours to put it together. It took me like 30 minutes to take it apart.
Right.
And then I ended up, so I backed the Ono. I sadly backed a 101 Hero. I have that down here. It's total garbage.
Yep.
I make this joke to people. They're like, does anyone know of a cheap 3D printer for like $100? And I'm like, yeah, it's called a 101 Hero. It's an amazing machine. Prints like nothing you've ever seen before. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. It prints like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yep. It's not positive or negative. You can't tell.
Yep. But
I mean, you kind of get what you pay for. That's the thing that people overlook a lot. Like when they're new into the 3D printing scene. I mean, if you're buying a $200 machine versus, you know, like a $600 machine, well, let's compare, let's say, a ANET A8 versus a Prusa i3. You know, the level of support, the safety, build guides, you know, things like this, just the little things, you know, the research behind all of it, it's going to be completely different. Like the ANETs, you know, they just, you know, cut out the parts and just send it to you and say, here, build it. But Prusa's a little bit different. You know, they got, you know, they kind of help you out. They kind of educate you a little bit more into 3D printing, get you started, you know, so you get what you pay for. That's basically something you need to know about 3D printing.
Yeah, exactly.
For the
You
most
get
part.
what you pay for. So there's certain machines that my rule is for backing 3D printers on Kickstarters, they have to have at least been like established into the community in some way. So like the Block Zero with their Indiegogo campaign, the Blocks Tech, they've been established into the community of actually having machines that worked. But I don't want it to be like a bad thing. So Kodama, I just backed the Obsidian for I think the 149 tier. And that machine, I can trust that it's going to be good because there's other people that have talked about it. They've released their Trinus, which was a successful campaign. The machine works great. And there's other things like that. I just backed, what was the other one? The Kudo 3D Beam. That's going to be my SLA printer, so I can get into SLA 3D printing. Since I can trust.
That's super cool. Like,
yeah, I really want to get an SLA for cheap.
Right.
That's the thing.
Me
Everybody's
too.
like, how cheap can I get into the hobby?
Right. And it's like for SLA, you know, it's a lot more expensive. There's a bit more maintenance involved. I don't necessarily like the fact that, you know, it's resin and, you know, it can be a little bit goopy and stuff. So there's a little more TLC involved when you have a SLA printer. I mean, I don't have experience with one, but I just know that, like, as a fact, because SLA is a different type of printing technology, but it's amazing what the capability of an SLA printer holds. Like, you can print things like microscopic if you wanted to, or maybe at like higher layer heights or much more accurate. So I've always wanted to get into it, though. I just, my wallet's kind of small.
Yeah, that was the main reason why I backed the Beam. So I'm like, I know Kudo 3D. They were talking to me about specific things. They were going to send me a machine for review. They said, talk about work arms with heads to swap out. But yeah, so one of the reasons was I got the SLA machine is so I could get more detailed models. I was printing dental models out for somebody, and dental models are not need to be incredibly precise, and FDM usually cannot reach that kind of precision with the nozzle and everything. So an SLA would allow you to do that easily. And I had somebody talk to them at Forum Labs, over from Forum Labs, talk to them, and Forum Labs made the most worthless way to say, hey, buy our machine. They weren't even like pushing their machine, like even in a way like, I don't want you to push your machine down my throat telling me, buy it, buy it, buy it. But they weren't even trying to have them try and buy the machine at all. They were like, okay, you don't want it, have fun, bye.
Yeah. It just happens. It can happen to any company too. It can go from good to bad. I mean, rarely it would go from bad to good, but you always got to do your research. You got to make sure you're supporting a reputable company.
That's usually why I usually expect the printer manufacturer to be established into the community already. But there's some Kickstarter campaigns that I feel just so sorry for the people who backed the Peachy printer. That was
a joke, man.
That was hilarious.
You gotta feel bad, but it's hilarious and really bad at the same time how that ended up.
I haven't even checked their Kickstarter in a while. Let's see if anything.
Yeah, let's see what they got up there.
The Peachy printer. Probably got to be something that's changed since then. They finally won the lawsuit, and they're getting all of their money back. That's not happening, but whatever. Peachy printer.
All right, see ya, Jeffrey.
Updates. When was their most recent update?
What?
October 23rd, 2016. Oh, that's not good. Yeah. So nothing's happened really with them. I'm pretty sure nothing's happened with Tico at all. But
it doesn't look like anything happened.
Yeah. Nothing's interesting happening. It's just so depressing looking at like these failed Kickstarter campaigns. I'm thinking, I was gonna back that. There were certain videos that I made reviewing Kickstarters. I think it was the Anvil 3D printer.
Yeah.
And they ended refunding everybody their money because they thought, oh, it's just way too hard to do this. We can't manufacture a machine. We're not ready for this. And that was kind of the backstory on Tico. You think about it, these people had no clue what they were doing. They wanted to make a 3D printer. They knew about 3D printing, but they had no clue how to manufacture a 3D printer. And that was their main problem there.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you're going to jump into a business, don't just jump into it because you want to make money or you want to spread out, a product. You got to know what you're doing. You have to have all your ducks in a row before you actually, commit to something. because otherwise what ends up happening is a mess that you definitely do not want to be in, a legal mess and the community mess.
Yeah, so-
Community would be worse than legal, to be honest, because your reputation is pretty much like gone. Once you like back out, like you're done.
Yeah, sort of like what happened with iBox printers. So they made their iBox Nano, and I think almost 4 months after the iBox Nano Kickstarter finished, they released a new one. And they fulfilled all of the Kickstarter backers, but the person who created it, I have no clue what his name is, the iBox printers, he made a new Kickstarter campaign, and it bombed. And he just closed his whole company down. I have no clue why.
That's
The
a
whole
bit weird.
company gone in seconds. And I'm like, hey, I wanted to get my hands on an iBox Nano. That's like
Right.
one of my goals, to just get into new kind of machines. So my favorite thing was when I heard about the Fuse One from Formlabs saying, we're making a desktop SLS machine. And I'm like, of course Formlabs is doing it. They're the king of making overpriced machines and starting to get everybody into it. But that's the way it works. So Formlabs, well, technically 3D Systems or Stratus makes the machine, and then Formlabs kind of like takes the machine, makes it cheaper to be more affordable on a desktop side, and then people take that one, and then they drop it down. So you saw that with, you had the SLA machines. Those are the original kind of 3D printers. Formlabs made the Form 1, and that I think was $3,000 something. Then they made the Form 2. That was $3,500, still is. And then people were like, okay, so it seems that a lot of people are interested in this SLA 3D printer thing. So we should make ideas. So people came up with the DLP projector idea, and now they're on the idea of using a LCD screen to shine a UV light through it.
Yeah, I think that's when you start hitting the bottleneck to, the cost of creating a SLA or DLP kind of printer. When you're using like an LCD screen, your timing is going to be so much different than using, like a laser. It's not as powerful. I mean, you're literally using a phone screen. Like, I mean, I kind of see it in like a desperate sense too now, but another flaw about, using your phone for, say, the Ono,
Yeah.
Ono,
no.
who's going to sacrifice their phone for, like, how long is it going to take for a small print? Probably like at least 2 hours.
I have the actual app on my phone now since I'm a backer of the machine. But
That's
some of their prints are not short at all. So it's slicing. There we go. Slice. Proceed to print, yada, yada. Set this, do this. There's that. Let's see how long I can make a print take. This is a 2 millimeter tall rook. So
2 million. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
it's not even that tall. It's not even that big. But it's going to be a small little rook.
Does it say the resolution?
Well, I have no clue what the resolution is. So right now, this is what the app screen looks like. It says quality set to 0 and gain set to 0. Then there's print step and print wrap. So if I change the speed up, the time goes down to 1 hour and 13 minutes. If I raise the quality up, why is this thing not working? It goes up to 2 hours and 20 minutes. Then if I have no clue what this gain thing is, but if I set the gain to 10 with the normal quality, it takes almost 4 hours. And then based on print grow and print wrap and print step, so here's print grow, gain and speed, gain and quality all the way set up. It takes 5 hours. If I change it to print step, it takes 16 hours. Who's going to be away from their phone for 16 hours to let something this big print?
Yeah, literally, like, what was it, 20 millimeters, 2 centimeters. That's like, that's big. That's this big, all right, people? That's smaller than my ear. Like, for scale, for those of you who aren't good with measurements. Like, at that point, you might as well shell in a little bit more for a printer that can run without the need of your phone. Because, what are we without our phones nowadays, right?
Yeah. That's why I'm using my old iPhone 5S, even though the screen is smaller than my 7 Plus. I couldn't care less if my phone's sitting down there for 20 plus hours printing something out. I don't need it.
Exactly. So maybe if you have an old phone, then okay, well, maybe it might come in handy. But older phone, usually they have smaller screens, so maybe wouldn't you technically have a smaller build volume? It's just based off of like your phone screen size.
Completely.
So
It's like I love their
that's another
idea,
factor.
but I think it's just your phone screen isn't going to be solidifying resin. That's what I love. They said it's their
Right.
daylight resin, so it will cure under regular light. And I'm like, if it cures under regular light, what are you going to make me do? Like put this printer in a dark box when I'm pouring the resin in?
Right. Like if you think about it, if you have, a new person into 3D printing and they buy one of these, don't you think they're gonna screw up at some point and leave in the light? Maybe they're not even gonna be informed about how quickly this stuff can cure in daylight. They're not just gonna go in the basement or something where there's no light and do all this. It's not worth it at that point. They're probably gonna give up.
And my machine will be in the basement because that's where the 3D printing lab is. It's where the Prusa can't annoy people with its loud Y-axis bearings.
Oh yeah, it gets really loud. That I have silent mode on like all the time. I mean, it gets a little bit noisy. But I want to know how the Mark II versus the Mark IIs compares like noise wise, because I had the Mark IIs. I was fortunate enough to get the S upgrade. I want to know like the sound difference because a lot of the changes they have, which by the way I will cover in my upcoming video, it's the review of my Mark IIs. A lot of things that they've changed between the Mark II to the Mark IIs is under the bed, like literally under the bed. The bearings, there's a U clamp, screw it in from the top. Yep, and then the new rods. So, I mean, I don't know if it's particularly just one thing that changes the noise. It could make it a lot silent, but I mean, it runs pretty smooth compared to
I
other
still have an old
cheapos.
video of me printing something on my original Mark II. Should probably put that in my review. I think it's still on the original Mark II, but that was the noise level I got. I was going to make a video on printing the furry vase model, and it never worked, so I decided not to. It turns out that you really don't want the layer cooling fan to be on. That's what it sounds like over audio.
That's from the fan.
Yeah. It's not
My
even
fan
really
isn't that
moving
noisy.
at all.
Like, I mean, the blower fan that they use, I don't know where they get it from, but compared to like some cheap one I bought from eBay for like $1, that thing cools a lot better and it's a lot quieter than the one from eBay. But then again, radial blowing fans, what do you expect? Like those things are crazy. Like they push out so much air,
Yeah, that thing is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So I
that thing can
actually
cool
just
anything.
got my Prusa fixed because for some reason the heater cartridge was overheating, sort of. So it wasn't. It was pumping. Something was wrong with like voltage or something, and the connector was getting too hot. So it wasn't. The entire body of the wire was getting too hot, so it was melting like my ABS parts. It was melting my flex wrap, and they were saying, "Oh, something's wrong with the heater cartridge. We'll send you a new one." And today I got it, and they didn't send me a new heater cartridge. They sent me an entire new hot end setup, including printed parts.
You know what? That's really nice of them. I mean, I wouldn't see anyone really actually taking apart their hot end just to, swap out the cartridge or, just particular part in the entire assembly. Because then at that point, you're going to have to heat it up. You have to use some tools. You have to be really careful. It's a pain in the butt, to be honest. I mean, I tried it in the past and like once something breaks in it, you just want to buy a new one. But you know what? I actually kind of just appreciate them doing that for you. Like actually just giving you an entire new entire new unit. I mean, that's great. Plus the new printed parts. I mean, that's awesome.
I had all the printed parts on standby, but it was just awesome that they sent new printed parts.
Well,
and
right.
what I noticed is that Prusa changed their heated bed design. If you follow in the Prusa i3 Mark II Facebook group, they released a new heated bed, and it's sort of hidden right now. And one person working at Prusa said, "Look, we figured out how to make multi-material printing work with dissolvable supports," not even realizing that they posted a picture of the new heated bed on there. And I'm like, well, this is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look at the new
Oops.
parts, they have a totally different surface finish than what the other parts do, and I'm wondering what in the world is that.
Right. So I don't know if it will be a PEI. Probably will be a little bit different than PEI this time around. But PEI in general, I mean, it's pretty interesting. It's the first time I was exposed to it. Build surfaces. That's a big thing about 3D printers. You know, having just a PEI surface, it's an experience. You know, sticking things down is a little bit harder for me than, you know, actually using like tape or something. But having like really shiny bottoms on a print, like I was not used to that. Now it's so cool, you know, like having different surfaces on a printer.
My favorite thing sometimes is printing on glass because one, it's self-releasing, so I can just grab the part and like smack it, and it comes right off.
Yeah.
And PEI, I can lift a printed part up, and the entire printer comes along with it sometimes.
Oh wow. I haven't had that happen. I've had I think this one time I was printing, it was like I forgot what it was. I think it was like the Dragon model. So like it was done printing. It was about a 6-hour print. Like I just ran it overnight. I came back in the morning. And I was about to grab it, but like I was, you know, picking off like it was like a little blob of plastic. I don't know where it came from, but you know, sometimes it just happens. So I was picking it off. All of a sudden the entire model like popped off the build plate, like as if it wasn't even stuck to the build plate. But yet the Dragon was perfectly fine. Like there was no, like I didn't see it, you know, it wasn't moving while I was printing. It, you know, it's just one of those like really crazy things.
Yeah.
Mine just like pops right off, no effort.
My favorite thing about printing on glass, though, also, is the bottom is so smooth, I can take it and slide it across a carpet floor.
Wow.
It's that smooth. It's just so much fun to go whoosh, and it just slides right across the ground.
Is it like a mirror-like finish for you for the glass?
It's almost like a mirror-like finish. It's amazing.
I need to get back into that. I haven't printed on glass for a while.
Yeah, my Rostock Max V3 and the H2 both have glass build plates. So what I wanted to do is add a build tack plate, like just build tack, exchange it for the PEI, because PEI is sometimes annoying.
Yeah.
That it's just difficult in some stances. It gets so scratched up. Mine is so badly scratched up.
Yeah.
And I've replaced the PEI about 3 times, and I'm like, why am I replacing this so much? I shouldn't have to. This is not a consumable part of the machine.
Yeah. I scratched my PEI up a bit. I try to take like really good care of it. I try not to, you know, go too crazy when taking things off the build plate. But when things, you know, do get a bit too stuck, then you kind of do have to make that sacrifice. You know, I kind of actually clear a lot of these things up in my review, where I kind of, you know, show off some of the things that have happened to the PEI surface. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, BuildTak, I've actually used that. I've never pushed out the review. I don't know what happened to the footage. It got deleted, you know, which, you know, kind of sucks. So kind of lost a little bit of content there. But basically, BuildTak is really nice. Like, one little trick is to buy like a giant sheet of it instead of just buying like the pre-cut sheet, because you get more and it's a little bit cheaper. So that's what I did for my Select Mini, and I bought like the 8x8, or was it the 10x10? But it was like within 7 millimeters, I was able to cut out 4 sheets off of just that one sheet. So I really got, you know, my buck. But overall, I mean, the surface finish is pretty interesting. I mean, you kind of have to check it out, but things stick to there very well, and you know, it can print really fast, and it won't knock the nozzle. There's no way your nozzle can knock the print over. Like, as long as you have like a good adhesion at the bottom, just make sure your leveling is correct. Make sure it's not elephant's foot, because if it's elephant's foot type of adhesion, that's when, you know, things can kind of turn. You scratch the BuildTak, but yeah, as long as it sticks on, you know, like a normal plastic, then it will stick to BuildTak like really good.
Well, I gotta get going because it's 9:20 in here and I still haven't eaten dinner. But thanks for coming, everybody.
You too. Thanks for coming. Thank you for hosting this. This is actually really fun, and I hope we do more in the future because I love Google Hangouts. These are really fun, and you had to like write up my schedule like perfectly, so I was able to do it through the entire duration, which has like never happened to me before. So thank you for hosting this. I hope to do more of these Google Hangouts in the future.
But guys, I'll hope you enjoyed the stream, and we will see you if we ever do this again in the next time. So, bye.
See ya.